This is ridiculous. This annoys me. But everyone who knows and understands football has said it's going to be a 3 to 4 year process, which means 6 to 8 transfer windows. Why do certain content creators, why do certain TikTokers think they know more than all the experts and people that understand the game? It's just so frustrating, Stuffy, to listen to United fans. Like, we can control the narrative better surrounding our clubs, speak the truth and be honest. It's kind of weird to me how we always just want to shit on ourselves for no real. We saw it last night in the game, and I want to speak about the match a little bit as well. We know there was some poor quality yesterday. For me, I know he got a hat trick. I love Ahmad. I gave my man of the match, though, to Joshua Zirkzee. I thought he was amazing when he came on, and I love what he did. But then I'm seeing people treat Rasmus, who was poor and deserves criticism, as I did on the show last night. I said he was horrendous. Treat and talk about him in the same way as people were treating Xerxes 3 weeks ago, and that was being condemned. And it's like, see, this is the problem I have with human beings, I think. I'm getting to a point where I'm just going to surround myself with dogs and cats. Because, hang on, and I know you won't do this, Staffy, but there are people saying I didn't like how he was treated, what people have said, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And instead of treating Rasmus better because they didn't like how Xerxes was treated, they treat Rasmus the same. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this is why I don't like people. It's keep the same energy. Why, Man United fans, do we beat our own players over the head with our own players? If you want to prop up Xerxes, don't use him as a tool to make Rasmus look bad. Criticize Rasmus, yes. Slag off a rival club's player. Yeah, why do we always attack our own? It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I hate that internal civil war shit, man. Like, you have that in my fan base in abundance, right? You've got it with Neto versus Madueke. You know what I mean? You've got it with who else in there is there? You know, actually, yeah, it's mainly Neto and Madueke right now, because those two, they're not really cutting it on the right hand side. But yeah, to me, I would find it mad weird when people are propping up one player that plays for your club and then trying to diminish the other one and they're playing for your club. And I'm like, it's just weird to me. It's weird to me, man, when people do that.
It's just the lack of consistency. It's not like I wanted them to boo Højlund, but to be fair, I did say yesterday when he was getting subbed off, I was like, how come he's not getting booed? It's because I made a point 3 weeks ago. I don't want to revisit it. I know why Xerxes got booed, and I called it out. And I remember who was on, then Potts was like, oh, yeah, if you pay for your ticket, you're allowed to do this, and that. I was like, yeah, but the energy is never the same in that stadium. You know, he had a worse stinker than that day when Xerxes got subbed off. No one heard anything, and I think yesterday's performance was one of the most embarrassing performances, obviously until we won, that I've seen in a while. You know, but there's a lack of consistency. But forget that. I don't even care about that no more. I get your point. Some people want to choose who to abuse, who not to, and if your favorite player got abused, then you should abuse everyone else. I don't adopt to that. I don't like that idea. I didn't say anything about Højlund. I just think he's crap, and I don't think there was a point talking about it. But anyways, let's just talk about the game. Yeah, the game was absolutely horrendous. Højlund was just absolutely horrible. Once again, another backline that he's playing against where he just offers nothing. I always feel like we play with 10 men when he's on. He generally offers nothing. His runs are bad. His hold-up play is bad. It just so many times when it's wrong, it's just so bad. He has 2 goals in the league this season, and that's completely unacceptable for the amount of money we spent on him. And it's not more on him, honestly. It's more on us, or who sanctioned this deal. Who thought it was a good idea to go and spend that much money on someone who's so raw and has a lot of work to do? This could have been a signing where it's like a club gets him for about 20 million, hopefully develops him for about 2-3 years, and maybe he's ready at 25, 26 to lead a line somewhere. Something like what Jokers did as an example, going on a couple loans, then going to Sporting Lisbon, and then at 26, he low-key peaked. That's what we should have done. But the performance was absolutely shocking, and I'm not going to lie, I wanted to see better from this team yesterday, but I feel like I'm one of the few people who was just disappointed but not surprised. I don't understand how anyone watched us over the last 6 games and thought today, all of a sudden, we're going to just absolutely cook Southampton. And them being 20th does not mean anything to me. Because not because I got results versus Liverpool and Arsenal does that mean that's going to translate directly to this game. See, this is why it's so dangerous to be someone who operates with the results-based analysis. You don't do that. Getting a result versus Liverpool and Arsenal does not mean you're going to go and cook Southampton, because you're going to have to play different football. The expectations are different. The pressure is different. You go from being an underdog, someone who needs to be a little bit more compact, work hard, defend well, hit a little bit more on the counter, to now, hey, I'm expected to have a lot of the ball. I'm expected to play better football. I'm expected to bring the game to Southampton. And every time we have to bring the game to someone, what happens? We don't look good. I don't know why it was surprising all of a sudden. And that's why yesterday I was fuming. And I said it in the group chat last night when we were talking about what time we are going to do the show. Remember, I said, I don't know if I could follow up after what I heard on the top 6 yesterday. For Canadian Cam to come out here and say, oh, but we don't need to make signings in January now. Let's wait until the summer. Are you crazy? If we don't make signings in January, this manager might not even make it to the summer. No, I actually yesterday I was just so frustrated. The expectations that people put on this team all of a sudden, as if we didn't go 6 games. Forget the Liverpool and Arsenal game. We didn't even win them in regular time. The Arsenal game was in penalties. So in 90 minutes, we didn't beat them. And the 4 games before that, we didn't win a game. We went 6 games without winning any of them in regular time. So it's like, why all of a sudden? I understand Southampton are garbage, but it doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're good. All of a sudden, when we have possession, am I expecting these players to make the right decisions? The majority of them are not good. It's so simple. Like yesterday, Maguire comes off the back line, and we can't pass out the back. And no one even rates Maguire. So the fact that I need Maguire to actually progress the ball against Southampton shows you the lack of quality that I have. The midfield, Ugarte, to be fair, he's just been exhausted. Yesterday, he was getting ran all over that midfield.
He ran all over him. He ran all over him.
Bro, Ogochukwu and Aribo, they
damn right,
cooked him and Menu. And this is why when I sit here and I say, guys, this midfield of Menu and Ugarte is not the best thing, is because the PNP yesterday, Don, you saw that. They cooked them on the ball, on pace, on power. They had no answers. And that's the dangerous thing you have when you play a pivot of 2 players that are 6 foot and under. And not to mention that our 2 other midfielders in Bruno and Garnacho, one of them is not even a midfielder. So you get your midfield lost, and you don't have a striker to hold up the play. And I have to shoehorn now Ahmed on the wing because I lost Dallo, and I need an extra attacker on the pitch. And I have to shoehorn Mazraoui in a position where I don't think he should be a wing back. It's a recipe for disaster.
Did you
people all of a sudden think we don't need signings? We are screaming out loud for signings.
I hear you. Did you see what Amorim said in his press conference after the game?
Which one exactly? He said a lot of things.
Yesterday. Yes. Did you listen to yesterday's press conference about the game?
Parts of it.
Yeah. He was talking about the midfield getting overrun. He mentioned tired legs, but he also spoke about how, and it's what I like about him as a coach. He said, I made some tactical errors as well, and this is where people say he does the same thing every game. He doesn't. There are different. He essentially stated that where he told his players to position themselves, it was exposing that Ugarte didn't have enough cover around him. The same as Lenny Yoro. He was often plugged out on that right-hand side by himself. And that's why we ended up having a back 5, because both Ahmad and Mazraoui were almost a little bit too scared to go forward in case we lost possession, because we don't have people that can keep it very well. And then it was Lenny Yoro, or on the other side, it would have been Lissandro that are then going to be exposed one-on-one with these attackers.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that I told you about Amorim Ball, though, Terry. I said one of the main weaknesses I'm reading up on is the wide areas, bro. Because the fullbacks in principle, the wing backs even in principle should be tracking back and that. But bro, when you're running up that way, and then you need to track back at this level up against a guy like the Southampton left winger, bro. These guys are human. People need to remember that to run back, your energy, bro. You need your energy, right? So that's why you need someone. That's why you need someone like a Euro who's supposed to be good in the wide areas, but he got cooked yesterday, bro.
He's a young player. He got cooked. He'll learn from that. Again, I saw United fans turning on him yesterday and joining in with rivals, slagging him off. Again, I'm going to be really offensive here. Stop being little punks, little bitches, and take your medicine with the rest of us. Stop siding with the enemy so that you get a little fucking comfort blanket. Oh, you're a good United fan because you slag your young players off with rivals. Mugs, mate.
I know a bunch of Chelsea fans like that. Trust me.
But to your point, it's not. I don't have an issue with the manager's system. He has to implement it. What this team lacks is athleticism. The system will work and get better as we add more players in. So if you think about 2 of the attackers that we're linked with at the moment, is it Mbomo and Gyökeres, strong, powerful, quick. You look at the fullbacks that we're linked to, strong, powerful, quick. We lack that explosive power and pace within our team, and it's something that we really do need to add, and we have to get that in there because we noticed some issues. But I also think we lacked mentality yesterday. You could see fear. We went to Anfield and we put our heads up, pushed our chests out, we demanded the ball, we were aggressive into tackles, and we were comfortable with the ball at our feet. And I'm not going to lie, yes, there was a lot of pace and strength and speed in that Southampton team, but I don't think they got more than what Liverpool have. And in fairness, they gave Liverpool a run for their money in one of their games earlier on this season. But it's a case of we look better away at Anfield than we did at Old Trafford. That for me is more in the head than it is on the legs. We looked nervous. We weren't aggressive. And this is why I love what Xerxes did. And young Collier, to be fair. They came on with a different mindset of, I'm going to show you what I am. This is one thing about Xerxes' performance yesterday I loved is the last time he was at Old Trafford, he was subbed off. He was jeered. But you know what I love is that he took it personally, but he's put that energy into something positive. He's put that energy into, do you know what? I'm going to make you all eat your words in a positive way. And I love that. And in fairness, the away fans every game since have treated him brilliantly, singing his name, singing his song. So we're going to slag fans off for booing him. We've got to praise a different group of fans for bigging him up. But the away fans are your diehards, and they typically don't turn on anybody. But he came on yesterday. But as soon as he came on, and he grabbed the ball by the scruff of the neck, and he actually looked like he wanted it. And I know people hate that expression in football, but it's only football fans who hate that expression. In every other sport, the coaches, the participants, and the audience understand the need for mentality. You see, if you watch tennis, I'm watching the Australian Open, you can see where someone's like, you know what? I really want this. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to go for it. And you can see a player who's a little nervous and being a little bit timid and isn't taking any risks. And what Xerxes and what Rasmus was doing yesterday, it was annoying, but he weren't up for it. He weren't in it. He didn't believe in himself. So what he does when he's in that mood is he starts wrestling with people, because it's like a bit of a, people don't like him doing it, but the reason he does it is, well, at least it looks like I'm busy. It looks like I'm
trying to get stuck in, but you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're doing it. Listen, you've all got people. You must have played football with the guy that doesn't really want the ball, right? And when it doesn't come to him, he then shouts, "I was open." You didn't tell anyone you're fucking open. You were just hiding because you don't really want the ball because you ain't confident in yourself. But that's why Xerxes was great. He came on, and as soon as he started to behave like that, and a few moves came off, he started saying, "This player, that player. Oh, I'll try." Ahmad scored the hat-trick, amazing. But it was only after that point he really started to attack and go forward regularly. As he did it, Maz started doing it. Then Southampton went, shit, we better sit back. Do you know why? Because we laid a punch on them and we got their respect. What we didn't do in that game early enough was lay enough punches and get their respect and make them sit back. We just timid, and we allowed them to come onto us. And we have to be so much more aggressive at Old Trafford. We have to be.
But that's not a surprise there, because everything you said, I agree with. But all that changed when certain individuals came off the pitch and certain individuals came on the pitch. It's no coincidence that Xerxes, when he comes on, even if he doesn't score a goal, he gets everyone involved because he is that good of a player. What's his name? Ericsson. I tweeted sarcastically yesterday. I was like, don't forget, guys, Ericsson doesn't have legs. It's because it's just such a stupid thing to say. When you have a team pinned back like Southampton, a team that you're trying to keep the ball against them, I don't care about legs right now. I have enough runners on the pitch if I have an Ugarte or someone playing like that. You need someone with quality in the final third. It is no coincidence. He comes on, Xerxes comes on, Ericsson comes on, and Collier, to be fair, he had a very good cameo again, like the Liverpool one, and he's putting his name right now in the hat to start a couple games in the next couple weeks. But these players come on, and Ahmad all of a sudden now has a little bit more freedom. To be fair, it was a mistake to put Anthony in the 10 instead of him. When we switched that, he scored that hat trick, but he just made a few combinations with these guys and they scored. That ball that Ericsson played into Xerxes, who else on that pitch? Bar Bruno.
No,
he was the only one that
I understand that. And I understand that. I understand that. But I've also seen those same players, barring Collier, who's been out injured, start games or come on in games in this last 2 months and look like rabbits in headlights, not get involved, look a little bit disinterested, look a little bit nervous, look like they didn't want it. And when they've been in that mood, and that is how, for me, and that is what I saw in Xerxes the day against Newcastle. It was someone that looked so fearful. There was a fear in him, but he came on with a different mindset. What that mindset enabled was his quality to shine through. And look, I hope it's a catalyst. And I hope we get what I saw from Xerxes yesterday was the player that I saw at Bologna, was the player that I was excited about Man United signing, picking that ball up. Never going to be prolific, but the way he picked the ball up and he drove at the back line, he was feeding it out wide. We need more of that. But I would love to, I bet if you sat and spoke to him now, especially privately, and said, what were you thinking when you came on versus Alec? I bet he tells you. I bet he says something along the lines of how much he wanted it, how much he wanted to prove people wrong. That's a mindset. And as soon as he did that, the team started to perform. And we have to be more like that at Old Trafford. But viewers, I'd love to get your thoughts and opinions on that and everything else right now. There's a super chat here that says, wasn't there a tradition about academy players? Yeah, there is, but that's still going to go on. We've had an academy player in the first team squad for something like 100 years, about 80 odd years, and that's not going to go away. Because yesterday we had Mainu that played, and Garnacho was in the team. Toby Collier came on. We had Godwill on the bench. That record isn't going to go because a couple of academy players leave. They're not going to break that tradition. And in fairness, like, I'm very excited about Collier. I think he looks really good. So yeah, for me, yeah, I wouldn't worry about that at all. Hello, Staffy. I was wrong about Højlund. You're right. He is so crap. The whole one shot a game is on him. Dude runs in all the wrong places.
I had Terry Flewers messaging me while I'm in SoFi Stadium in California when he scored in a preseason game.
Yeah, and if he scores again, I'll also send it to you, mate. I'll send.
At least he had the courtesy to say sorry, Tony, because the amount of hate that I got here for saying last season he just doesn't have a lot of things that I need in a striker.
Wait, how many goals did he got in the league this season? It was
2,
goal?
And he scored them, I think, in one game.
No, I think separate games. But then it's weird though, because you look at his European record, both Champions League and Europa League for United. It's brilliant. Different league, different game. So Sebastian Veron was like that for Man United. Veron, go back and watch his Champions League performances versus Premier League performances. He looks a completely different player, and yeah, he ain't doing himself any favors.
He just
at the
needs
moment.
to be dropped at this point. I'm not gonna lie. If I see Emirates starting him again, I'm really gonna question Emirates.